Okay, so get ready for an opportunity that Bitcoin is providing right in front of us. We're going to go over Mars stock first, and then I'm going to break down that Bitcoin opportunity real easily so we can all understand what's really going on and just a couple ways on how this can play out. So, we're going to jump into a lot of that detail. Mars stock first, but remember, guys, this coming up week and then the week after, we have some very, very important data and an announcement coming out that all of you are probably already aware of. But this coming up week, and this can actually influence Bitcoin in a good way. Not good for people that are just FOMOing or at least jumping into it randomly, but it can provide the setup I'm looking for to really take advantage of Bitcoin. So we got the two CPI or two inflation reports coming out Wednesday, Thursday. The Thursday one to me is more significant. The one on Wednesday will give us a little bit of clarity. All of this comes out an hour before the market opens in the US. Also on Thursday, there's another initial jobless claims, and this one's actually quite important as well. This is all setting up for the week following. So Wednesday, September 17th. Towards the second half, within the second half of U.S. market hours, we have the actual Fed Chair Powell press conference and the FOMC interest rate decision. Now we all know that this week, it's the weekend, but previous week, this week we had a very important jobs report, and it came out really, really bad, so bad that it actually dipped the market. But regardless, this is setting up so far for a really, really good um potential rate cut after next week, but it's not completely as certain as it will be once we actually jump into next week and we have those a little bit more data to come out, and we're gonna have an even better idea. um Personally, I have no idea what the CPI will look like, just because of course we also have like this confusing tariff element involved into it. But regardless, the uh, the jobs reports being weak, and potentially the one that will come out next week as well, if that also comes in lower than expected, or just weak, we will have a much better idea. I believe the jobs market is much more important at the moment than the actual inflation readings. But when it comes to Mara stock, remember it is the weekend, so there's nothing new to talk about. Everything I'm gonna say is pretty much in yesterday's video. Just keep in mind it's all my own personal opinion. I like to share with you guys what I'm looking at within the charts and how I'm looking at it as a potential opportunity to take some trades, right? So for quite a bit now, like I think it's been at least 2 weeks, we've been taking advantage of this very important sideways consolidation within an overall uptrend that we're in so far. Remember what I said in previous videos, this yellow line down here at 1347. We're gonna say 1345 because it's kind of in that area where the swing low is. That will invalidate the uptrend, and then from there we could potentially see a gap fill quite quickly. Um, and this will be the bigger picture lower low that would actually provide a really solid buying opportunity before we go back up over $10. But so far, we're holding still the uptrend. There's no signs of it being weakening just yet. Yesterday's price action when we had this dip below support, which was a really, really good setup for what I'm about to say, and I've been saying this previously as well. We haven't broken this swing low so far. This sideways channel is still intact. We're within the channel back above support. We can easily be back into resistance shortly, creating a really, really nice long opportunity. But as long as we're holding this overall support area within red, we have the high likelihood of going up to roughly $18, potentially even going into this value gap a little bit before we see strong resistance. And then, so we're going to say $19, 18 to 19, before we see strong resistance coming down and attempting, and we'll look at the health structure when that actually happens. How likely, especially looking at the RSI as well, how likely a higher low can potentially hold for us to go up and break into the 20s for a brief moment in time once again. So that's the idea, right? As long as we're holding support, the idea is to go up into 18 and 19, and then attempt or just pay attention to the health of the uptrend, the structure, to see if the price is going to attempt to hold a higher low or not. right? So this is the next checkpoint for higher prices potentially, before we go, before we can go up higher. So there's a lot to look at. But until that happens, right? As of right now, we're trading the sideways structure, keeping an eye on a potential break of structure into either direction that sustains itself. So a good example is right here where we broke over. It attempted to sustain itself by holding the resistance as support, but it failed. It couldn't break over the swing high, so it kept the sideways movement intact. Now, remember I said it's very, very important, in my opinion, that limit orders are key, because limit orders removes FOMO, fear. It removes emotion, and it triggers the sell or buy order. Then, hoping and trying to fill in a market order and hoping that you will actually sell or buy when you need to, instead of just you know hoping that you don't fall into like emotions and be greedy or overly feared. So limit orders are the way to go, because as you can see, every time we break the support or break resistance, we only trade below and above it for a very, very brief moment of time. Anyone that's being hopeful when they're selling longs can easily come back down below resistance. Same thing on support. If you're shorting on the top and we're coming down, if you don't lock in those profits, we're back above support very easily. So for quite some time, we've been just jumping from longs and shorts back and forth, locking in these support and resistance lines. So it's going to be just above 15, roughly 1508, and roughly 1823.25. So around 1625 and 1508, right? That's the support and resistance. As long as we're holding this sideways channel, which so far we are, my intention with this is to simply, very, very simply, keep taking advantage of longs at support with take profit at resistance. And then opposite, of course, once we're in resistance, taking advantage of shorts to take profit back at support. So it's been working out very, very nicely. But keep in mind, SLs are very important. So SLs, depending on how aggressive you want to be with it, can either be the previous swing low. It can either be if you're more focused on percentages, or it can be a more extreme swing low, or again the swing high. So it's up to you how you want to structure your own trades if you're taking advantage of Mara within this sideways channel. This portion right here where we went from support with longs up to resistance, we actually traded within this area for quite a bit. There was opportunities to take advantage of shorts 3 times, but again, we never had enough volume to really hold a break over the swing highs. So and during this time also, Bitcoin was getting ready for a dip, because during that time we went up into brief moment into resistance before we came back down. The RSI was maxed out, and again, we all know that Mara, regardless of everyone's opinion, rather you're with the company or against it, it does not matter. It does not matter your opinion about the company. What matters is the structures that we're looking at, the trade opportunities that it provides in the short term, right? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you believe in the company or not. None of that matters. Does the chart, does the stock provide good trade opportunities? And so far it does, right? It does not completely follow Bitcoin, but it does have some influence. But for the most part, this stock is quite difficult to keep track of in the bigger picture. Regardless, throughout this year, like back in April, really good accumulation opportunity. And if you guys remember, if you've been watching during that time, a strong TP was within this value gap right here, which we did hit eventually. We had another buying accumulation opportunity 2 times to accumulate before we went up into the take profit blue extension area up here. So as of right now, with the bigger picture, more extended swing trades, we're within an accumulation opportunity. SL for me is, again, if the structure confirms a break, which will be at the yellow line, that's SL. TPs will be 18 to 19 and to shave, and then from there, completely anything over $20, not being greedy, will be a great TP overall. Again, short-term trading opportunities. Sideways structure, right? Simple. Longs and shorts support and resistances. There's really not much to it. As of right now, we are within support, and I would not be surprised. I mean, we can trade within this area a bit. Like when we were back here in resistance, like we tested it a few times. Most of the time, we've just done pretty much one test, even with the support one test. But just keep in mind that even if we do a second test of support, or even if we hold this area for like a day or two, it does not matter. Um, until we have a sustained break of structure, I don't care if we're within a trend line, so support resistance for a brief moment of time or just a little bit longer, like we were right here. It does not matter to me. I believe that overall, regardless of short-term noise, if there's any, the idea is that we will go back up into resistance and we'll be back into the low 16s very soon, right? And then once we're in the low 16s, unless we have a sustained break of structure, the idea is that we'll come back down to the the low 15s, potentially even high 14s, like we did right here as well, which is more ideal because if we break support, it gives more time for like any sell orders to trigger for those shorts, and then it's more time to actually accumulate longs as well. But regardless, again, the idea is that we pretty much had like a day and a half chance, a window to accumulate longs. I'm just repeating myself, guys. Right now, as of right now, regardless of any small fluctuations, the idea is that we will be back up into the low 16s. And then from there, it's just take profit on some longs and then look to open shorts as well. But that's just my view. There's a lot of other stocks. There's a lot of other stocks and some cryptos I really want to cover. So I'm trying to figure out a way to manage my time properly to really like, cover more stuff than just Bitcoin and Mara all the time. But this is what we're doing right now, as of right now, right? So I'm just gonna stick with it. When it comes to Bitcoin, so you guys can remember we had a really nice pump leading into an anticipated jobs report. It came out actually in favor for rate cuts, but it was so bad. At least the end results after the numbers were like modified. It was really, really weak, and it was a sell the news event. But regardless, when we have weakness within such a hungry market for rate cuts, right? And good news, technically good news for rate cuts, ends up dropping the market. Like that's like somebody wanting to buy like a really nice car and and they're like, hey, actually, like we're a really nice car is available, and they're like, actually, we're gonna cut the price, and we're gonna give you a discount, and then everyone in the line just walks away. Like that makes no sense, right? And that's kind of how I see this as well. So as of right now, nothing overly like bearish is happening. You guys already know if you've been watching recent videos that I ideally, regardless of what data, what announcements comes out, for me ideally, I would like to just see the price come down, hold this downtrend structure, and actually break into the purple short-term devalue area will actually be super attractive. That's my ideal scenario because you guys already know I really, really want to accumulate some BitU shares because right now I'm still holding on to IBIT as the foundation for the overall swing trade. And I've been accumulating within the red area. So for me, again, red areas are really, really good just accumulation areas for me. So I've been accumulating within every red area. Back here, when I accumulated into this red area, it worked out very nicely. And I've been doing this multiple times with deep value purple, red accumulation area. We came out of that super quick back into the green. This one had a quick fake out, but a quick V-shaped recovery. Still, I held on because the previous red accumulation area was all the way down to 100.5k, and we actually ended up using that as perfect support. So during this time, if you guys were watching, I was very much into holding, and then we went up straight into resistance, and it all worked out very nicely. But yeah, like I use red accumulation areas as a way to prepare for, the overall trend, which is up. Red accumulation area, potential higher low within the bigger picture for higher prices. You guys already know I'm looking at for 128k. Ideally to sell the IBIT position, but I will be locking in profit as we extend higher. So I have 116k fib resistance, another one at 118, and then some value gaps. All of these are shaving points for the position to lock in some profit. And then at 128k and above, it's when I plan to close over the position overall, unless we're up here and then some like macro stuff starts coming out. Then I might either hedge or just close out the position earlier. But regardless, I'll be in the green. Now, if we do come down and we actually go into the purple area, it'll give me a reason to be more aggressive and accumulate BitU on the side as a boost for the complement for the IBIT position. So as of right now, though, in the short term, we're still holding support. I updated this yellow area yesterday. It's just a support area retracement from this move up right here. We found resistance at that swing high right there, but so far we're holding it. This doesn't look super healthy. I mean, we do have a 3-wave structure coming down, but then the question is, if this is a 3-wave structure and it's still unfolding, like, it's very much possible it can come down back into previous swing low as a double bottom opportunity. And I'll be very much interested into adding more to IBIT, but again, only BitU if we're within the purple, and that's going to be amazing. Right now, I already believe we're an amazing, attractive opportunity. Anything, I already said this in previous videos, anything below 120k is like amazing in my opinion, and we're like at 110k. So, like, the longer we stay in this area or even lower, like I am all about buying longs and accumulating for this swing trade. I am in no means feared out. Like, I do not see any clear evidence that a bear market has started, both in the structure and in just in the macro environment. Like, there's a lot of optimism waiting on the sidelines to come into the market right now. Right now, there's just a lot of uncertainty within the overall market because people are kind of feared out. They're seeing some red, and then they're freaking out like crazy, even though technically, look, we're still holding support. And if this support breaks, then we're just looking for a double bottom coming down here. And if it goes lower, then that's when I'm looking to accumulate BitU. Like, I am, even if we come down and make a lower low, like, I am all about taking advantage of that because that's what makes sense to me. So yeah, target is still 128k, but in the short term, again, we have this data coming out next week, and then also like anticipation for that Fed meeting after next week. So it's gonna be, I'm expecting a lot of choppiness within the market, but again, as long as we're holding this yellow area at 109.6k, the lowest, the possibility of us going higher into this blue overall resistance area before seeing another correction that could potentially hold a higher low is there. But if we don't actually break a bit more into this blue area, then what just happened? I think my let me see if I refresh it. It's a little easier for me to like talk about this once the oh, I think my internet might have gone out. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. It made sense. I'm just gonna try to get the internet back up and then upload this video for you guys. But yeah, if we don't break into that blue area, simply the likelihood of holding a higher low and go straight back up into 120k plus is less likely. More likely that we'll go into that purple area, 107k or below. Yeah, okay. I don't know what is going on. I think my internet just like crapped itself or something. Oh, but we're good now, I guess. But yeah, if we can't go into that blue area, the likelihood of purple before breaking out of this blue is much more likely. But if we break into this blue, there is a very high likelihood, and I'll be keeping track of it, monitoring it for a potential higher low to go up higher. Again, this is going to depend mostly on those announcements, but until then, I'm going to keep track of Bitcoin. I'm going to keep you guys updated, and hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.